What's going on, middle school students, parents, whoever you are watching this video? Just want to say hey, how you doing? And share a little something with you. You know, right now I found myself worrying about a lot of things, and recently, this may be ignorant a little bit, and I'm still getting on occasionally, but my news feed that updates me every morning, I deleted it. Not saying everybody needs to do this, but I found myself worrying about some really big stuff. Um, and I started to realize this is way bigger than me, way bigger than I could ever worry about. And I remember this being a thing for me when I was a senior in college, and it's because I got super into rock climbing, and there's something about me where I've kind of got this personality where it's like go big or go home. And with that mentality, though, sometimes I can I don't know, make something out to be way more than it should be, or I take on way more weight than I should in my life, or way more pressure I put on myself than I need to. And I remember getting into rock climbing, and I started seeing all these people that had been climbing for years, and they were super good, and they looked awesome climbing these really, really difficult routes, and everybody watched them when they climbed. And I remember thinking, like, that's what I need to be like. That's what I need to do. And so I started focusing on that and fixating on it. And climbing became kind of stressful, but I kept going. I kept showing up, just wanting to improve and get better every day, and getting disappointed when I wouldn't climb. And I remember going outdoor climbing for the very first time. And I get to a wall, and my friend's like, it's your first time outdoors, you can probably climb this one. And I was like, all right, I got it. And so I climb, and I've been climbing. I climb up, and I get to the very top of the wall, and I feel really good because I'm like, yeah, like this is what real climbers do. The ones that are on TV, they're the ones that are climbing real stuff, like El Capitan and Yosemite and all that stuff. And so I get to the top, though, and I find myself sitting at the very top and trying to hook into the anchors and finally like secure it locked and loaded. I can come down, and while I'm trying to get a secure enough hold that I can take one hand off, grab the rope, and put it through. And for some reason I'm having a hard time, and my foot slips, and right when my foot slips, I lose all of the strength in my arms because they're really tired, and I fall about 30 feet and pendulum swing, and poof, slap against the side of this rock, and my arm's bleeding, and it swells up, and I have shoulder pain and all this stuff. And I was terrified to ever get on a wall again. And so I remember talking to somebody about this, and they were just like, dude, just take it a step at a time. And so I remember going into the climbing gym again once I got back to Tucson, and that's what I did. I took it one rock at a time. I took it one hold at a time. And not only did I take it a hold at a time, but I celebrated each and every little improvement. Not fixating on the hugeness of the unknown of how I'm going to be able to climb that 511 or this really hard route one day, but saying, this is the route I have, and I got one higher today. And I found myself improving way more than I ever did. And I don't know how I would have gotten there, but I didn't know how I would get there in the first place. So I was like, yes. But there's something I learned from that, especially right now. And it's in the midst of these giant uncertainties that you don't have any control of, and they overwhelm you. Focus on your little victories. Focus on the small moments that you find yourself feeling really successful, or really at peace with your life, or you find yourself just believing in yourself again. Focus on those, and let the big things that you can't control fade into the background, blur out. Focus in on the little things. Jesus says this in Matthew 19. He says, Matthew 19, verse, where is it? It's here, 13. Then children were brought to him, that he might lay his hands on them and pray. And the disciples rebuked the people. But Jesus said, let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for to such belong the kingdom of heaven. I think the disciples thought that adults were bigger deals because they had more problems going on. But Jesus says, the little children, they've got it right. because the little children focus on the little things. They worry about the mud pit. They worry about the person in front of them. They take joy in the small little victories, the small things they learn. They show off their coloring page. And they bring joy and they remember what life is all about, but it's also because they realize that their parents handle the bigger things than them. God's your Father. He's got this. He's got the world. He's got the pandemic. Trust that and focus on the little things that really, once you start realizing what's going on in your life, don't become all little. And maybe you actually find joy in life again during this time. I love you all. Have an awesome week.